Let's talk about Scaredy-shroom. You probably know this guy. He was part of the original 50. Sure, he's not as iconic as Pea Shooter, but it's not like we're talking about Bamboo Spartan or Infetal Nut or Electricity Storing Cedar Pine Cone. In PvZ1, Scaredy-shroom is one of the 11 mushroom plants of the game. Yes, I know mushrooms aren't actually plants, but I don't care. It is unlocked after beating level 2-6. It's the only full range attacking mushroom plant, which already gives it a leg up against the others. It only costs a measly 25 sun, only a quarter of Pea Shooter's price, while doing just as much damage. However, there are quite a few things that sent this plant back, one of them being in its name. If a zombie gets too close to Scaredy-shroom, specifically in a 3x3 area, it'll go into hiding and stop shooting altogether, which for some reason doesn't stop it from getting eaten. I personally think it should, but whatever. Luckily, its full range basically makes this a moot point, since with enough of these, zombies wouldn't get that far anyway. So why not use him all the time? Well, it's actually the competition. With the other two purple mushroom plants being a heavy-hitting plant with infinite pierce and a plant that costs nothing, it makes sense why he'd be a bit overshadowed. Plus, right after this, you get a plant that freezes every zombie in the entire lawn and a literal nuke. It only gets worse for Scaredy-shroom after night, as suddenly all the mushroom plants fall asleep, making them completely useless. Sure, in the roof level you get Coffee Bean, but that costs 75 sun, and by then you might as well just use a Pea Shooter. This plant is overshadowed by a technically weaker plant before you even get it, only to get double overshadowed by a tactical board wipe, and then fall asleep. Doesn't fare much better in survival mode, as basically the one reason to use it is to dig up later to make way for the more powerful plants. It's one of the worst attacking plants in the entire game, only stronger than two plants that cost nothing. It's basically useless. And it's my favorite plant. Yes, the overshadowed plant that gets stage fright and can't even be used 3/5 of the time is my favorite. So what? I can't help but admire Scaredy-shroom as a character. Despite such cowardice, he still tries to defend his planter's home any way he can. He may not be the best plant statistically, but he's perfect for when you need an extra helping hand. He earned his place in the seed packet page. And then PvZ2 came along and nothing. No Scaredy-shroom to be seen. And not just in the first three worlds. Far Future, Big Wave Beach, even Dark Ages, the world that was full of returning mushroom plants, and Sunbeam, didn't have him. In fact, none of the worlds did. Frostbite Caves, Lost City, Neon Mixtape Tour, Jurassic Marsh, even modern day came and went without a sign of the frightened fungus. Meanwhile, these new worlds instead added new mushroom plants like Spore Shroom, Perfume Shroom, and Shadow Shroom. Apparently, he was going to be in Dark Ages, but was cut for some reason. Benny's Pursuit Arena came along, and they stopped making worlds, moving on to Cediums. It seemed like the end for our purple-capped pal. But there was still hope. Starfruit and Pumpkin were brought back as Cediums, so maybe one day we'll see the return of Scaredy-shroom too. And finally, in 2023, a full decade after PvZ2's release, might I add, Scaredy-shroom finally returned as a Cedium. Maybe the once-neglected mushroom can finally make a comeback. Oh no. This is bad. This design is bad. I don't know how PopCap managed to mess up a Scaredy-shroom redesign this badly. What's wrong with its eyes? The pupils are way too small, and why are his irises green? The dumbest part is that not only is this completely different from what Scaredy-shroom looked like in the first game, it doesn't even look right compared to the other mushroom plants from this game. It's just terrible. Look at the two designs for Pea Shooter. Look at the two designs for Sunflower. Then look at this. This is a massive downgrade in design, and I honestly can't believe they managed to take something that should have been so easy to make in this art style and somehow get this out of it. And I'm clearly not the only one that thinks this way either. But ironically, it isn't just what they changed about Scaredy-shroom that's bad about this. It's also what they didn't change, aka everything else. He behaves exactly the same as he did in PvZ1. That is to say, he's a cheap plant with a weak attack that stops attacking when zombies get too close. Sure, he gets a defensive buff when hiding and no longer falls asleep in daytime, which is now all the time, but that's not enough to handle the intense power creep that late game PvZ2 has. Hold on as I cross off the obligatory power creep mention in a PvZ2 video on my to-do list here. In the arena, the whole point is to do as much damage as possible to increasingly tougher zombies. So why bring a cheap plant that you'll just end up replacing later? It's not like they care about balancing. Remember, Aquavine counters nearly every zombie, Torchwood went from pointless to the best plant ever, and Pokra. So why not do something good with scaredy-shroom? Make it so they can't get attacked when hiding, something I mentioned earlier in this exact video. Really, the only thing you got was an overpowered plant food ability, but even then there's plant food abilities that are even better with plants you can get just by completing adventure mode. Refer to Lightning Reed. The way you unlock it also bogs it down heavily. This isn't just a random plant to unlock while playing through the game, it's a seedium. You need 250 seed packets for this guy. That causes it to get unlocked way late and be outclassed by other much better plants, as well as get overpowered by the absurd zombies that the game throws at you. Refer to Z-Corp Consultant, Jurassic Rock Puncher, Rodeo Legend, Robocone Zombie, Mega Football Zombie, Discotron 9000, Cardio Zombie, Z-Mech, Newspaper Zombie, Balloon Zombie, All-Star Zombie, Roman Caesar Zombie, Fire Breather Zombie, Scorpion, and every single Gargantuar in the game! PvZ2 ruined scaredy-shroom, and so far it hasn't shown up once in any version of PvZ3. So that's where it had originally left off. In fact, I wasn't even going to make this video. But then, in walks the Chinese version of PvZ2, adding scaredy-shroom to their version as well, and this design is objectively better. This is 1,000 times better than whatever this is, and even a little better than the PvZ1 design on subjectable. And keep in mind, this is one of only 2 plants to have a different design between versions, the other being Dandelion, and that's because the Chinese version added it first. PvZ2C Dandelion was added in 2014, PvZ2I Dandelion was added in 2015. This shows that even the official developers behind the game know that this design is garbage, which only reinforces my question: how do you mess up this badly? The mechanics still aren't good, but you know what? In this version, it's fine, because worlds are still being made that won't overpower scaredy-shroom or make it obsolete, or both. The international version of PvZ2 has become all about Penny's Pursuit and the Arena, both of which scaredy-shroom is terrible in. But in the Chinese version, there's still more worlds being added, as well as special secret realms. In fact, scaredy-shroom is part of a Z-Corp secret realm in this game. This is what scaredy-shroom needs. It needs to be put in its own weight class, not stuffed into a place it doesn't belong. Or better yet, give it buffs. Even Sea-Shroom of all plants got buffed by being given splash damage. Though, then again, I guess it's not scaredy-shroom seed packets being sold for 99 cents right on the shop's front page. Like I said before, scaredy-shroom hasn't been added to any version of PvZ3. The current version doesn't have puff-shroom either, though they apparently had enough space for mash destruction and all the other crazy fusions they put in this game. Seriously though, numbing cabbage, tingling pult, 3 peanut? I don't know where they got these ideas from, but they're ridiculous. But hey, at least we got puns like freezer salad and cold slaw. Those are pretty fun. Actually, never mind. Apparently cold slaw comes from the pre-2021 version. Forget I said anything. But regardless, this new game might be the opportunity our panicked purple Portobello needs. This game's somehow gotten good recently. I'm a big fan of the art style, and it even paints the way for scaredy-shroom to finally become useful as we start using this new merge mechanic. If you get scaredy-shroom by merging 2 puff shrooms, then scaredy-shroom's price can go from 25 cents to nothing. That would be pretty overpowered, as long as they don't do that stupid timeout nerf that they gave Puffshroom in the second game. Or they could do Pea-Shooter and Puffshroom to do that invincibility thing I mentioned before. It does the same damage as Pea-Shooter, but it also doesn't get hurt by zombies. That would be an interesting idea, right? So, basically, the conclusion to this video that didn't need to be made, but I did it anyway, is this. Put scaredy-shroom in PvZ3, and make him good. And don't you dare mess up the redesign again, because there will be no coming back from that one. I need my favorite plan to get a moment in the spotlight, and this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Anyway, I don't know how to end videos, so